Welcome to TransparenTEA, where we sip the truth and spill the stories. I am your host, Dr. Latonya J. Smith. I am here today with the person that we call the closer, Dr. Tomika Luckett. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm honored.
Oh my gosh, Dr. Tomika, listen, I'm so glad. It's like I was telling Carlika in the car, I said, let me tell you, it's a few people that I reach out to and they say, God is going to take care of me on the back end. Oh. I will never forget you told me that. And I've been so grateful. Every time I reach out to you, you've always said yes.
Oh, yeah.
I appreciate that.
Absolutely. It's an honor, truly, because you could ask anybody, but I am always humbled when God puts me on somebody's mind.
Yes.
Like real talk.
Yes. So today we're going to have a little fun.
Yes.
So before we get started, we always play a little game on TransparenTEA, and it's called Sip or Spill. Okay. You can either sip the tea or you can spill. I got 3 questions. You can get your tea right there. Okay. That's your little cup. All right. So the first question I have for you is, what is one red flag you ignored on purpose?
Ooh, child. One red flag, I think. Now, this could be any past, previous, yes, any relationship. Yes. I think one red flag that I have ignored in the past was character things. It's the small things like, just not being truthful about where you are or what you want to do. Yeah. And you see those things that aren't a good fit, but you ignore them because it looks good. It's aesthetically pleasing. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's one of the things I've ignored before.
Okay. All right. You dropping gems already, Doc. Oh, yeah. Here's another lighthearted one. If you text your ex, I miss you right now, what would you say?
I'm going to pray for you. You'd have to go back a long time to find an ex of mine. But wow. I'm going to pray for you.
I'm going to pray for you.
I'm going to pray for you because you need it. Bad.
And the final question is, if you could talk to your younger self, what would you tell her?
Don't settle. Do not settle for anything. Mm-hmm. Don't settle for love, relationships, friendships, career. Yes. Don't settle.
Yes.
And that's just the best advice I would have.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I love that. Yep. I love that. Well, thank you for playing.
Yes, I didn't even see it.
Well, yes. So Dr. Tomika Luckett. So I'm looking at your credentials. I had you write down your credentials. PhD, APRN, PMHNP, psychiatric, mental health, nurse. Listen, that's a lot. Tell me how you begin your journey to become all of the things.
So the first thing was, and I like to share testimonies.
Yes.
I want people to know I didn't wake up like this.
Yes.
This is literally a miracle from God.
Yes.
I did not graduate at the top of my class. I was not voted most likely to succeed.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, most of my classmates probably would say I was a class clown or somebody that was getting into stuff because that nook if you book type lifestyle from the projects, like I was that girl.
Yes.
Like we could go there. And so if you look at who I am today, you would definitely know that God is able to do what he said that he would do. I used to tell my family, even when I was small, when I could talk, 2-3 years old, I'm going to be a doctor one day.
Wow.
Anybody who would listen. It was a medical doctor, of course, is what I always said, even growing up.
Yes.
And, through the years, as I grew up, people had things that they believed that I would be because I was the only child, and I won't lie, my mom spoiled me. So I got to do a lot of things young that people didn't consider socially acceptable.
Yeah.
Like I started wearing makeup at 12 or 13 years old. And that wasn't acceptable in my family. That meant I was hot fast.
Yeah, hot
fast.
Yes.
That was the deal. And so they didn't realize I was wearing makeup back then because I didn't like my lips. I didn't like the color of my lips. I didn't like my skin. So I learned to mask different things when I was even that young.
Yeah.
And so there were conversations had about who I would be, what I would do, and what would happen in my life. But I had a mom who said, against all odds, no, you can do this. And so
Yes.
when I became a single mother young, like triplets at 20 years old, any hopes of that little girl being a doctor seemed impossible. But with God, all things are possible.
Yes, sir.
And so it was just a journey that God took me on. I recognized that I loved teaching. I loved
Yes.
academics. I love all things reading. And I learned how to be okay with me.
Yeah.
You know, I was always intelligent, but I wanted to be the class clown, or I wanted to be the popular girl. And I didn't realize, well, you can be those things, but that's not really who you are.
Yes.
You like books. You like to learn. You like to
Yes.
read, but you also like to have fun. You like music. And so I had to get okay with being me. And so I
Yes.
think that's how I kind of built different credentials, different walks of life to be able to help people
Yeah.
through real life stuff.
Yes. So I want to go back to something you said, that you were a single mother of triplets
That is true.
at an early age.
I was 20 years old.
Wow.
And if nothing else motivates a woman, kids are going to motivate you.
Yes.
In that season, it motivated me to push, to work, to go to school, to get an education. But at this phase of life, it's motivating me to pray.
Yeah. Come on.
Because if nothing else, kids will teach you how to pray, baby.
Yes.
I'm talking about you need a show enough prayer life. There are some things that our kids go through, money can't fix it.
Yes.
Because if money could fix it, I
We'll
would go
solve the
travel
problem.
nursing or do whatever I could to fix their situations.
Yes.
Telling you I love you, that
Yes.
doesn't fix it.
Yes.
You really need the Lord to fix some things with your children. And so for me, that has been my source of prayer. And like, I thought it was hard when they were young, but it gets tougher the older we get.
Yes.
But God has been faithful to us.
Yes. So
absolutely.
as a 20-year-old mother of triplets,
Yes.
were you in college then?
I was biology pre-med at the time, and I went to Indiana for the summer to make money because we didn't have any money. My mom had her first heart attack my senior year of high school, so she was disabled.
Wow.
And so I wanted to go to Indiana. That's where my family is. I have family in Macomb, but my immediate family, like my aunts, first cousins, my dad, everybody is in Indiana.
Wow.
So I went up there to work and do a summer job, and that's where I met the triplets' dad. And so came back to a pretty big surprise. There were 3 boys.
3 boys.
3 boys, yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So how old are they now?
They are 26 years old now, and we have been tremendously blessed. You know, that's why I know God is real.
Yes.
You know, to be that young and have that many children. Not only did I finish college, all 3 finished college.
Come on.
All of my sons have a college degree.
Wow.
All of my children, none of them became single fathers or had kids out of wedlock thus far. So even the fact if they did it today, they're 26 years old.
They're grown.
They already broke a generational curse
Yes.
that started with me.
Yes.
And so I'm blessed on that level.
That is so amazing to hear. And I know as a mother myself, being just looking at my children breaking those generational curse, because I was 10th grade, I dropped out of high school, and to see all of my children graduate high school with no children, those getting college degrees.
Yes.
I was later in life getting my degrees. So I commend you on that. And I just want to dive a little bit deeper. So, okay, so you got the triplets, you in college. How did you navigate motherhood? So we're going to talk to a single mother that maybe wants to pursue her career. And I'm looking at, I have to either pick being a mother or pick going to school. How were you able to do both and be successful?
You know, this is called TransparenTEA.
Come on.
You know I can't be anything but.
Yes.
That's just who I am. I will tell you I did a good job of being a career woman. And my kids will say that I did good by them, but I made a lot of mistakes. And for me, I'm still learning to give myself grace.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, I'm young. I'm 20 years old. I still want a club. Sometimes I want a party before I met the Lord. And I realized that, you know, I left my children open to some situations that I didn't even realize until now that they're adults, that things are coming out that, you know, we had babysitter. You know, a lot of times us women, one of my passions is talking about incest, sexual molestation, those types of things. And what I didn't realize is boys can be violated too.
Yes.
Not by other men, but there are women who are predatory towards little boys.
Yes.
And so me taking them to a babysitter, thinking everything was all good, not our traditional babysitter who kept my children, but there were other kids who were a little bit older than them, girls, who I didn't realize violated my boys.
Wow.
Like, this has just came out in the last few months.
Wow.
And they know me. This is a testimony.
Yes.
Like, I'm going to share this because these are conversations we need to have.
Absolutely.
So while I was excellent with career and job, and I took pride in the fact of I work all these jobs and I take care of my kids, there are things that I've had to say, I'm sorry, I dropped the ball.
Yes.
You know, while I'm clubbing and partying, you know, I hope that some other young mother will hear, no, you need to stay at home with your kids and you need to see what's going on.
Yes.
Because teenagers, these kind of things introduce them to things that they shouldn't have been introduced to at a young age. And so we need to watch our kids. We have to protect them.
Yes.
And we need to, as African Americans, have these kind of conversations.
Yes.
Like, put it all out on the table.
Yes.
This is what happens
and
to me.
not what goes on in this house. Stay
God.
in this house,
Oh, my
because
God.
that is a generational curse by itself.
And the more that we talk about this, the enemy can't hide.
Yes.
As long as we keep in secrets, it's going to stay a secret. But I declare that when I have grandchildren, they will not face some of the stuff that I face. And now knowing my kids faced. And I had no idea about it. Because that's the thing. Men don't talk about brokenness. They don't talk about pain. And you being a mother, a woman, and this still goes back to your question, you don't realize how broken a man is until you try to love him.
Ooh,
you don't
wait a
realize
minute.
it.
Wait, don't you go no further. Don't you go anywhere. Say that again.
You don't realize how broken that man is until you try to love him. And when you try to love him, his wounds come out.
Yes.
But as a woman, you nurture your children. But can you nurture a man in a relationship? Can you even properly nurture your children if you have never been nurtured?
Yes.
You know, so we have to have these conversations so people can learn, like, you know, I don't know if I know how to love.
Exactly.
I don't know if I'm receptive to love.
Yes.
You know, that's the thing. Like, a lot of people want love and they give love, but do you really know how to receive love?
That's
Can
good
you receive
right there.
it? And so I did a very good job in my career. I've made it to the top that you can make it in nursing education. But I could have been a better mother. And that took a lot for me to be able. And my boys will say, no, mama, you did good by us. But there are things that I feel like I could have done better. I could have done better.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If I would have found God and been a Christian mother much younger, some of the things that happened to them maybe not would have happened. That's facts.
But the amazing thing about God, and I know you are a woman of faith, we know all things work together.
Oh, yes.
You're able to speak to that camera and you're able to tell that single mother how to, you know, hang in there, but I need you to be a mother first.
Be a mother first. Your time will come.
Yes.
You will have days when your children are grown. You can listen. I can go anywhere I want to go, any time of the week, any day of the week. But when you got those babies at home, forget to turn up on Friday night, Saturday night, because you might find out 20-something years later, somebody touched your child when they were at a babysitter. Now, it was no male-to-male stuff like that. I won't say that it was that, but it was some females who touched my children and did things that weren't supposed to be done to them when they were little boys. That's a fact. That introduced them to things that I had no idea about.
So let's stay right there for a minute, because I know you are such an amazing woman of God. And we're talking about, you know, things that happen in our childhood, things that, because I've shared that same testimony. But how do you forgive the person that violated your child? How do you go through that process? And how are you now? Because you just said you just found out, what, weeks ago, months ago?
A few weeks ago. Like, it's been literally in the last couple weeks.
Yeah.
So I'm still processing it. But here's the thing. I've had to forgive a lot, but I've also had to be forgiven much. So to whom much is given, much is also required.
Yes.
He has had to forgive me for a lot.
Yes.
And guess what? Even today, he is still forgiving me for mistakes.
Yes.
There's a scripture that I like, and it's in Hebrews 12:15. One of my favorite. And it talks about the root of bitterness, how it will spring up and trouble you.
Yes.
And it will leave many defiled.
Yes.
Here's the thing. it's not troubling those people that you can't forgive.
It's troubling you.
It's keeping your soul wounded.
Yes.
It's keeping your blessings blocked.
Yes.
It's hindering you from moving forward because you can't forgive. And so listen, it's some people who have hurt me, but I've also hurt some people.
Yes.
And so when I think about, I don't need my blessings hindered and I don't want to defile many, you can defile many through your conversation.
Yes.
A lot of this dysfunctional stuff we see on social media, that's somebody being defiled because they got defiled.
Absolutely.
And so there's a root of bitterness there.
Yes.
And so for me, forgive. Like
Yes.
I told my son who came forward with the things that happened to him, like, we forgive. Like,
Yes.
because ultimately the girls who did that, they were kids too. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm just convinced that the goodness of God,
Yes.
there is no thing
Residue.
that happens in our life
Yes.
that is a mistake.
Yes.
I testify about the things that I went through. Didn't even know in the midst of this testimony that my children had been
yes.
through this. You know what I'm saying? And so that gives me even more impetus to say, oh yeah, I'm going to tell my testimony. Not only am I going to tell it, I'm going to tell my son's testimony.
Come on.
Now, they aren't yet where I am in God, but there will come a day
Yes.
that they will be able to win souls through their words. And I'm getting full now.
Look,
because
I'm
I
just
feel
gonna say,
the
oh
presence
my
of
goodness.
God. Like, there will come a day that this testimony
Yes.
about what happened not only to me,
Yes.
but my sons.
Yes.
You know how many men have been violated and they don't talk about it? Like, they never tell you that somebody touched them. And we think about same gender type stuff, but there
Yes.
are women who touch little boys.
Yes.
I knew that, but I never processed this could happen in my family.
It could happen to me and my children.
And so we have to have these conversations, and I'm going to tell it wherever I go.
Yes.
And then the Lord adding on the credentials of psychiatric nurse practitioner, I needed to be credentialed by man, not for it to make a difference to the kingdom, but just so it could open the doors he needed it to open.
Yes.
And for him to be able to say, see, it's one thing when a person says, oh, you need deliverance, or God needs people who understands it all.
Yes.
I understand what the problem is with the soul, but
Yes.
I understand also what the problem is with the mind.
That's it.
So he needs that. I'm convinced he needs that.
That's good. Oh my gosh, this is getting good. I look. It's always you, Doc. It's always you. Oh my goodness. But that's a great thing. That's a great point that you made, that oftentimes we look at it only happens to little girls.
Oh, yes.
It only happens to girls. And then whenever we try to get in these relationships with these men, it's like they're still processing the trauma that they went through as a child themselves. So then sometimes you got two broken people trying to get together and navigate life together. And that's where the abuse comes in.
Yes.
That's where the infidelity comes in. So I love that you said you were intentional. You know, I know what my son needs in the natural, but I mean, in the spirit, but I also want to know how to talk to him mentally, as a practitioner, if I can say it that way.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Wow. Oh, this is so good. But another thing I wanted to talk to you about is you mentioned earlier that did you say you had project housing or something like that?
We did. I grew up in the projects, White Acres.
Look, I did too. And that's what made me say that is because I remember I lived in White Acres right around the corner on Whitterman Street. We were
on Earl Street.
Y'all were on Earl Street. And so we were over there in the projects, and we didn't allow the projects housing to become us.
Right.
You know, a lot of people, they get in the project housing and they just stay there. But I love that you were able to, I'm going to use every resource that I have, but I'm going to also better myself so that I can help not only me, but my family and others.
Absolutely.
Talk about that part of your life.
Well, it's funny because my mom used to always tell me that just because we live in the projects don't mean you have to be a project.
Come on.
That doesn't mean that you have to be needy. That does not mean that you have to be whatever society says that you have to be. I tell people, my mom gave me a lot of things, but that work ethic, that comes from her.
Yes.
When we moved here, I was like 3 years old. When we left Indiana, like we left everything.
Mm-hmm.
When my mom and dad split up and we moved here.
Mm-hmm.
When we moved to Mississippi, like we came with the clothes on on our back and our furniture.
Wow.
My mom didn't have a car, but you know what that woman did? She paid city taxi. Back in the day, we had a taxi service in Macomb to pay. When she got paid, she would pay them every 2 weeks to take her back and forth to the nursing home to work as a CNA.
Wow.
Do you know how many people would have used, I don't have transportation, as an excuse
yes.
not to work? But that just because we live in the projects don't mean we have to be a project.
Yes.
My grandma lived in projects in Indiana. It was called Ivanhoe Projects.
Yes.
Some of the worst projects now in Indiana. Our family, many of them lived in the projects, but guess what? I'm a homeowner. I have first cousins who are homeowners.
Yes.
That generational curse of poverty, that was broken.
Yes.
And you know how it was broken? It was broken, number one, through the power of God.
Come on.
Number two, it was broken through discipline. But number three, it was broken by us simply saying, I want better.
I want
better. I don't know how to get better, but I want better.
Yes.
I didn't see anybody in my neighborhood going to college, being doctors. But guess what? It's some ladies I know who grew up right in White Acres with me. They are now physicians.
Yes.
Like, we have people that came out of White Acres
Yes.
that now are wealthy, that are now successful, and everything society says you have to be. So I would tell anybody, just because you grew up in the projects, you don't have to be a project.
That is one of the main reasons why I believe God called me to this. To
Yes.
create safe spaces for women to tell the truth.
Yes.
Feel free to tell your truth. Live your truth out loud.
Yes.
And the project housing, I want you to encourage
Yes.
the young lady that may be in the projects and she don't know what she's going to do with her life, and just encourage her today. What would you say to her?
You know, I'm gonna look at the camera at this point because I want you to hear me and hear me good. You know, I lived in apartments and projects even as a nurse because I was afraid and I didn't realize it. I was in the process of building a house, picked up everything in my home, from the shower to the sheetrock to everything that you can put in that house. I built it. It was a week before closing day, and I told the lady who helped me with my construction, I don't like this house. Well, what don't you like? I said, well, I don't like anything about it. She said, well, what we need to change or how can we fix it? Now, I done picked out everything. Hear me?
Yeah.
Picked out everything custom, but I don't like it. So I said, I don't know. I just don't like nothing about it. I said, I tell you what. I said, let me go and pray, and I'll come back later and tell you what I want to do. Went in prayer that night, and the Spirit of the Lord told me, you're scared. It's not that you don't like it. You are afraid because you have never had to be in a place where you had to totally trust me. See, it's easy to trust God when your rent is like $500.
Yeah.
But when you got a mortgage and you're a single mother getting ready to send children to college, that's another level of trust.
Yes.
But guess what? It has gotten hard through the years. I've put kids through college, but not one time did God let us fall short with that mortgage. Somehow, 80 years later, it has gotten paid. During that time, I finished a PhD, a master's, and working on another postmaster's. Not because I'm so good, not because I'm so perfect, not even because I'm worthy. All you have to do is step out on faith and let
Yes.
God do it for you.
Yes.
If he could do it for me, trust me, he could do it for you. You just got to face those fears and realize you won't know if you can buy a house, build a house, move on to better, get a degree, unless you step out. That's all. Step out.
That is so good. It was so much packed in that. Oh my gosh. I do have a question because we talk about faith.
Yes.
And having faith to trust God. And for a person that may be a babe in Christ, they may be saying, well, what is faith? And they say you only have to have a little bit of faith. How did you grow in your faith to today you're able to say or encourage someone else to just walk out and just trust God totally, to raise their children, to buy their homes and go to school and better their life? How did you get strong in your faith?
Well, it started for me when my kids were sick because they were born early. Like, some people don't know, I only carried them 5 months.
Wow.
And so, like, they were really, really sick. We didn't get optimistic news on them living, them surviving. Like, everything was negative surrounding them. So that's when I really, really got a prayer life.
Yes.
And as the years have gone by, I've had to get new levels of faith. Like, I thought I thought that I had been tested in every area, but I went through a test and a trial, I'll say last year, just a year ago, because when I decided to transition from nursing education into practice as a nurse practitioner, I didn't realize what a big transition that would be. Like where my salary was up here, it went all the way down to nothing for a little while. And I'm like, wait a minute, Lord, you told me to go to school for this. I go back to academia. I mean, I don't really need this. But I realized that, sometimes we look at the blessing that we get, and we get to a point where we've not had to struggle with certain things in a while. Like there have been years where I didn't struggle financially, but I went through a financial struggle last year. But you know what that did for me? It made me humble again. It took me back to a place where I remembered that, this is what it's like to worry about how to pay your bills. This is where it's like to not know, like, how you're going to meet the bills. And I can tell you, even in that, like losing probably 85% of my income, that God is faithful.
Yes, He is.
We didn't lose anything. I was still able to go on trips. Most people never even knew I was going through that storm.
Yes.
And so it's those type of things that remind me that God said this is what He do. Now, I had to remind Him now. Because when I was first pregnant with those triplets, and I won't lie, again, transparent, my plan was to have an abortion. And I tell this story everywhere I go. Called into a prayer line, talked to a lady, and she prayed for me because I wanted to be prayed for. I was a weird person, but I wanted to be forgiven before I did what I was going to do. And the lady quoted the scripture to me, I've been young and I've been old, and I have never seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging for bread. And I am telling you, 26 years later,
still can stand on that
no
word.
child support most of the time. We might have got it a year out of 26 years. I have never seen the righteous forsaken. And me and my 3, we have never had to beg nobody for bread. And that is a fact. The times when I couldn't buy school supplies, God would have faithful people come and provide stuff for me and my kids. They didn't even know what we were going through. So, I don't want to cry like this, but I just can't help it because I know where He brought me from and where He's still bringing me to. And, people see you and they think that,
you got it all
she
together.
Just got it going on.
Yes,
but
you
baby,
got it all together.
Know. There is a story behind the glory. There really is. And so we went through so much when they were young, and, people no child support. But through it all, I can testify that's what makes my faith know, because I'll tell anybody, when you have a lot in the bank, it's easy to trust God. But I've learned to trust Him when it was negative, when it was positive. I have learned to be content in the state that I'm in. That's why my faith is strong. I mean, I got what the young people say now, baby, I got receipts.
I got the receipts.
The fact that I'm still alive and in my right mind, I got receipts. I got big receipts. The fact that I can even wave my hands, I got receipts.
I
got receipts.
Doctor. Yes, ma'am.
I got
my
receipts.
Goodness. Yes. And, you hear people say, this oil cost me something.
Oh, my God. My God.
This oil, you see the glory, but you don't know the nights that I cried.
Oh, my God.
You don't know the times when I had to try to figure it out, up at night trying to figure it out.
Absolutely.
Oh, my goodness, Doc. Yes, indeed. But I love that, just hearing your story as a young mother and then transitioning to school and going through school. And even in all of that, God always remained faithful.
Yes, He did.
He always showed you His hand.
Yes, He did.
He's always going to show you His hand. I got you, baby. All I need you is to lean into me.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness. So I know time is winding up, and I'm not going to hold you here all day as the Baptist preachers say. But I do want to ask you this. If you had to encourage someone that may be starting a business, because I know you're a full-time entrepreneur.
I'm getting there.
You're getting there.
Yes.
So if you had to encourage someone there in their area of life, how would you encourage her to start her business, walk out on faith, trust God? Just talk to them, Doc. Give them a word.
Simple, Habakkuk. Write the vision and make it plain.
Yes.
Though it tarry, wait for it.
Yes.
I had a vision. I had a plan. Didn't know behind the scenes God was still working it out for my good. All you are responsible for doing is write the vision.
Yes.
Make it plain.
Ooh,
Even if it don't happen today,
good.
Keep the faith. It'll happen for you. So I encourage anyone, just write the vision. It's simple. It's not our responsibility to bring the vision to pass. That's his responsibility. All you have to do is trust him, and he'll take care of the rest.
Oh,
Living witness.
I never, listen, you just gave me a revelation I ain't never had. And I promise you, I love Rebecca. But you said you are responsible for writing the vision.
Yes.
You're only responsible for writing, because when you go down, he said, the folks are going to run with your vision.
They will run with it. Yes.
Oh,
yes.
my good. I never thought about that thing like that.
Yes.
You're only responsible for writing the vision.
Absolutely.
Oh, my goodness. I tell you, this has been an amazing time, Doc. I appreciate you always saying, yes, you show up, and you're the closer. You're the closer. But before we go, I want you to tell people how they can stay in contact with you, how they can reach you, follow you on social media.
I'm still on Facebook, Tomika Luckett. I have an Instagram. I'm not as active on it these days. It's Dr. Tomika _ Miss Nurse, MYSNURSE. I probably get back on my Instagram. My kids are young, so they say I got to do Instagram and TikTok. But I'm like, to keep up with all of this stuff is a full-time job. I can't, I don't have that kind of time. But I'll get back on it like that. But if you reach me through social media, I'm very approachable. I'm not that person that says, oh, I got to have $1,000 honorarium to talk to you. Baby, listen here. At the end of the day, I'm grateful for the doctor. I'm grateful for the psych NP. I'm grateful for all of that. But I just want to hear him say, well done.
Come on.
I just need to hear him say, well done. Those titles are nice, but I just need to hear him say, well done.
Oh, my God. You are a jewel.
Thank you.
You don't get that often. I'm telling you,
I know.
You are such a blessing to the body of Christ, and you carry so much, and your story is a blessing to many. And I'm grateful that you came to TransparenTEA to share it with us.
Thank you.
Well, we always wrap the set by with a little toast.
Okay. I'm with it.
Hey. Thank you for coming, Doc.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Listen, if you enjoyed this show, make sure you like, subscribe, and tag your friend that needs to hear this. Until next time, bye-bye.